Hello, Martin.
Hi.
Let me again welcome you to the Data 2020 Summit. And at the same time, I want to thank you for being part, your great input to the summit. So before we dive into further questions, can you please tell us more about yourself and your area of expertise?
Yep, sure. I'm English, married a Swede, so I moved to Sweden 7 years ago. Joined Nordea 2.5 years ago. Started out life doing degree in computing, moved into information management in 97, and been working in the area ever since. Worked cross industry and moved to Nordea 2.5 years ago. Now responsible for information architecture in the bank. So my role is understanding what our data is, where our data is, and who uses our data, and working out how we simplify our architecture to enable business value.
Well, that's a great experience. So today you delivered a presentation on getting control of your data landscape. And so you presented your efforts to make information accessible and useful to stakeholders. Okay. So can you tell us a bit more on your approach and why is this important and why other organizations should have it as well?
Yeah. So I think one of the challenges that we have is information moves around the bank and it crosses organizational boundary. And what tends to happen is each individual sub-organization understands their part of the pie. Okay. But the challenge is how to join up all the pieces and how to understand the end-to-end flow of data. And that's necessary from a regulatory perspective. It's necessary to understand how we can simplify. So what our focus is on, how can we build up an empirical view of how data moves around the bank to in order us to understand exactly where our data is at any point in time that can in turn support the business, either in understanding the impact of data being there or not being there, or to support the simplification effort to understand who uses what data to support decommissioning efforts. So it's really about trying to make our data landscape far more transparent so we can make informed decisions around what to do.
So data governance, as you say, is a key topic of discussion today. Okay, but we want your opinion on what are the main challenges while setting up a data governance model, because it's not easy to do such a complex model.
Yeah. So I think number one has to be executive buy-in. If you try doing it bottom up, it ends up being best endeavours. It's something that has to be mandated from the top. You need to get a policy in place that should set the overall tone, and then there's a real executive sponsorship driving it through. The second thing is it has to be business focused. You need to identify how to add value during the process. So that's about identifying where the data pain points are and coming up with solutions to help address those data pain points. So there's real support for the effort. I think the third one is about keeping it simple. It's very easy to over-elaborate and to overthink it. It's ultimately a change journey. So if you try and come up with things that are too complicated and conceptual, the business don't understand it. So it's about really keeping it simple. And I think the final one is ease of adoption. So this is where, again, the tooling comes in to help, is to how do we actually provide tools and people to support the business adopt data governance. If we make it too difficult, then people won't do it.
Well, fair enough. So to end this discussion, what would be some of the lessons that you have learned along this journey, and we would like you to share some of those lessons with our viewers and with our network.
I think the first one is there is no silver bullet. This is hard. So don't expect overnight results. You need to think about it, about putting in place a data governance or a data roadmap that describes what you're going to do, and you need to make incremental change as you go and deliver results on the way. It's about putting in place sort of sustainable investment. If you have stop, start, it's not going to work. So you really need to put in place a kind of a program of work that's going to deliver change over the long term.
Martin, it was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you for being part of the summit and for allowing us to conduct this interview.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.